Bentornati, welcome back everyone. A nice live look at Algonquin Park, beautiful. But we're bringing it right home here in Toronto, Little Italy, in the heart of Little Italy, right here on College Street. We're turning our attention to mental illness and mental health right now. This week is Mental Health Week. It's wrapping up today, but there's going to be a month-long discussion, of course, more awareness as we take us through to the end of May. To give us more insight, I'm very pleased to welcome for the first time as well, Lisa Wood. She is the Choices Program Coordinator. She's also part of the Supportive Telephone Counseling Line and has been doing so since the beginning of the pandemic. We're very pleased to welcome from the CMHA, which is the Canadian Mental Health Association. Please welcome Lisa Wood. Thanks for joining us, Lisa.
Thanks, Andrea, for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, you are first line of defense. You are who we call, or the voice that we're hearing on the other line when we pick up the phone to make that call. Very important, and I can imagine at times very taxing on yourself as well. Can you share a little bit about this experience at the beginning of the pandemic?
For sure. Yeah. So back in March, we decided to open up our telephone lines to the public, just for anybody to call in, asking about the pandemic, how they're feeling, and just giving them strategies as to how to manage in the situation, especially during this time of isolation and being at home and away from our supports.
So what are you hearing? What are some of the, when you have someone calling in their line, what are they saying to you? What are some of their concerns or fears or anxieties?
For sure. We're getting lots of calls from folks that are worried and anxious and stressed about the pandemic. Obviously, the pandemic has affected us all, and they're worried about being away from their family, their friends, their workplaces, everyday supports. And they're calling. We've had calls from families because a lot of their elderly parents or mothers are living alone. And how do they support them in a safe way? We've had calls from parents. How do they support their young children as they go through this pandemic together? Even college students were calling us in the beginning and letting us know that they were moving back home with their families and how are they going to manage? And so we just would listen and give them strategies and resources on how to cope.
Well, the CMHA has been a part of the community for a very long time, doing really important work on a national level as well. They just released some of the data on an emotional impact of the pandemic for Mental Health Week. They released some of the numbers. And, I think we would all be prepared for the numbers going up. Overall, a large number of Canadians, they said 41% reported a decline of their mental health since the onset of the pandemic, compared to 38% in the spring and 40% in the fall. So those numbers are rising as well. What can you tell us? What have we learned from the release of this document?
Well, it's actually quite devastating to see that people's emotional and mental health has gone down because of the pandemic. And I think people have to realize there's a real mental health impact on everybody, regardless of the age that you are. All of our kids are at home, right, doing online schooling. They're missing their routines. We can't go see our mothers. Today it is Mother's Day. We can't go visit our mothers. And people are missing each other. So how do we support each other? And in this pandemic, we've been asked to stay at home. So we have to really think about how can we reach out and support each other, whether it's making that phone call, sending a text, sending an email to somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. Just really reaching out and being genuine is really important.
I have to ask you because we're talking about the negative effects of this Mental Health Week and some of the things that we're experiencing. But we talked a little bit about before the importance of recognizing these emotions. There's a positive side to recognizing and understanding and seeing these emotions. Is that true?
Definitely. I would definitely say that's actually, if you can recognize how you're feeling, that is a really positive aspect. Even if you're feeling sad or angry or frustrated, it's okay to feel that way. And so many times we're told, not show our emotions, or what's the common question we get asked every day? How are you? I'm fine. It's okay to say, you know what, I'm not doing okay, and be okay with that.
So we talked also a little bit about the clues. So let's talk a little bit about the clues that we should, as individuals, should see or recognize that say, you know what, it's more than just not a good day today.
For sure. And that's a great question. So one thing that I would recommend is if you've noticed your emotions changing over the course of 2 weeks, say if it's depression, you find that you're sleeping a lot more, you're really, really sad, you're upset, you want to isolate all the time away from everybody, you're crying. One thing I would suggest to folks is reach out to your family doctor and do a check-in and just say, this is how I've been feeling. Maybe even keep a diary of your mood. I guess the main thing is mental health affects people in so many different ways. And that's kind of, we're all individuals. So you really have to know yourself and even have those check ins with yourself throughout the day. How am I feeling? If I'm feeling sad or I'm feeling angry, where am I actually feeling it in my body, physically and mentally?
The study also showed that the good news is that Canadians are actually learning how to cope with their emotions, with these feelings. Can you give us some tips for our viewers watching across the country on some of the ways to cope with these emotions?
For sure. And again, just as I said a few minutes ago, check in with yourself. How am I actually feeling? Take that time for yourself. So many times, even in this pandemic, we find that we're still busy. We're still doing things with our families at home, taking care of them, getting groceries. But take that time for yourself. It's so important. And things that you can do for yourself is take time for yourself, go for a walk, watch a funny movie, get out in nature, make that call to your family and your friends, and let them know how you're feeling.
So Lisa, as we wrap this up, if anybody would like more information, they can obviously check out the Canadian Mental Health Association website. We just saw a little bit there as well. A lot of a good wealth of information. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Check us out, CMHA York Region, and we have many programs and services that support the community.
And Lisa, happy Mother's Day to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank
And,
you. Happy Mother's Day to all the viewers.
and
Thank you.
do you have a message for anyone out there?
Just enjoy the day as much as you can. It's okay not to be okay, and take care of yourself. You're important.
Thank you, Lisa. It's great to talk to you, and we hope to speak with you again. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay, thanks, Andrea.
That was, of course, Lisa Wood along from the CMHA. She's been there for many years, and we're very pleased to have her here for the first time. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be right back.